Imagine if you were a cartoonist and you did diary cartoons and you broke up with another cartoonist that did diary cartoons and you all were
at the same time
at the same show. No, like different books at the same show so you can get both sides of this story.
That's the comics Civil War I want to read about.
Comics Civil War, you got to pick a side.
I don't want to fucking read about Iron Man fucking joining the Patriot Act or some shit. I want to hear about like two petty ass people breaking up.
I want to see an argument. Yeah, I want to see a breakup argument drawn by both people involved.
Hell yes.
Whoa, dude. That's a good idea.
Exactly. Gloves off. Just real shit.
That's a good idea. Fuck. Yeah, break up with go fucking start dating Dylan. Start dating a cartoonist.
That's a good idea. Just so we can get that content. Yeah, be a bestseller.
Boom.
If any ladies are, wanting to meet somebody at Cake or CZS, you can hit up Drug Dogs over here. And then, I think you all should break up around August, so when SPX rolls around, we can have like the disc books on each other done, like little mini zines. Yeah,
dude. Honestly, man, it would suck because inevitably I would date someone who is a much better illustrator than me. So to have like my shitty drawings and then her really awesome drawings in the same book, just juxtaposing.
You just walk up, you're like, hey girl, I really like you, but can I see your portfolio first?
Sure. Be like, all right, this sucks. We can keep dating.
Welcome back to Gutter Boys. This is episode 2. I'm JB with you, co-host Cam, and we have a guest host today. His name is Dylan. Y'all might know him as Drug Dogs on Twitter and Instagram. Dylan, say what's up.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me. Stoked to be here. Here in the studio with you guys.
Yeah, we're here in Drug Dogs HQ.
Yeah. We call it the
what is that
the
called?
Pleasure Cave, I guess that's the Pleasure Grotto.
Hell yeah! The Pleasure Grotto. I like that. Nice. Gutter Boys Pleasure Grotto. I like the ring of that. Anyway, so today we're gonna just talk a little bit about what is actually making us excited about comics, if anything at all. I feel like last time, while it was very cathartic to kind of point out all the terrible trappings of comic books and making them, I figured let's change gears and talk a little about what does make us excited about the medium, what makes us continue doing what we do outside of just like poor life decisions. So, we'll start with you, Dylan, since you're the guest.
Cool. I mean, honestly, between the three of us, I would say I probably have the least working knowledge of like like nitty gritty comic kind of stuff. But in terms of the things that really excite me, I would say I definitely come from the world of like zines and self-publishing, oftentimes kind of associated with subcultures like hardcore and punk and all that kind of shit. So I'm seeing, personally, there's a lot of people in like that hardcore, for lack of a better term, community, I'm seeing are starting to parlay a lot of those talents from being in bands and DIY and touring, and are starting to make comics. Like there's this dude, Nick, and I'm going to mispronounce his last name. It's Kukwe or Kukwe, something like that. But anyway, he does this manga called Detroit Mecha Police.
Super good.
And it rocks, yeah. And he's like insanely good, and he's working on the second one, so he's got like, I don't know, like long form chops. And it's just, I'm seeing a lot of people from like that world of punk and hardcore who are like taking it into like, just another avenue that is going to get like a bigger audience outside of punk and hardcore. But it seems sort of like ethically tied to a lot of that, the kind of stuff from within that community. So that's really exciting for me, and it totally motivates me because, that's kind of, I don't know, that's kind of where I first like got my start with illustration. So
nice. What about you, Cam?
So I guess like, I love reading comics. I read a lot of comics. I read probably too many, honestly. There's probably way better things that I could do with my time, but I guess like when it comes from like publishing, I think it's cool that Fantagraphics is doing that Now book again, because they were doing Mome in the mid 2000s, where it's just like those bigger anthology books where it was at the time, a lot of cartoonists you didn't really see, but now they're doing things, more often. So it's kind of cool that they're doing another publication with like lesser known cartoonists that, I don't even want to say lesser known because some of them are heavy hitters, but it's cool that we have like a semi-regular anthology that's coming out again from like somebody that has the ability to get into comic stores. But besides that, I think it's really just being able to, what keeps me going when it comes to making comics is the fact that I get to, see you all. Because, it's cool to fucking make comics, but, when you're making comics, it's such an isolated world because it's you and your desk. And most of the time, there's a very slim amount of people that you could talk to about this stuff on a real level. So being able to work so hard on something for, X amount of months in the year and go into these shows, a few weekends a year and interacting with the people in your community and, people like you all where, we don't get to see each other as much as, I would like to see you all, but we do get to meet up, pretty regularly. And, we get to see what one another's working on. So it all kind of pays off for me when you actually get to travel and be around other people that do this and see your friends that you've made. So I think that's what really brings me the most joy is just kind of getting to just take it on the road.
Yeah, I mean, my earliest memory of comic books was back when you could buy a comic at 7-Eleven.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. I would go to California every summer when I was a kid, and we don't have 7-Eleven in Kentucky, but yeah, I remember seeing the spinner racks in there all the time. Bought a couple issues of Sonic the Hedgehog. I think Archie was publishing it at the time.
Shit. My earliest comic stuff was through Nintendo Power. In those monthly issues, they would have these insane comics that would run for like a stretch of the issues, but they would be corresponding with the new games that had come out. I was super into that kind of shit.
Were there ever any Earthbound comics in there?
Yeah, for sure.
Dude.
Pretty much any of those original games. Like, yeah, I have a compiled Zelda book that's all of the Zelda comics from the original Nintendo Power run. But besides that, also, my dad always just had all of the Far Side and Calvin and Hobbes stuff, which I was way, way into. Just like super, super I don't know, just like stuff that I thought was just hilarious and didn't even really seem super comic-y to me at the time. It just felt like I don't know, just like a humor book, I guess.
Yeah, it was like if you went to the Scholastic book fair in the 90s, like they had every Calvin and Hobbes and Garfield. So I feel like I was reading those books without even really realizing they were comics. Like I didn't process that they were comics. They were just, books that I was reading that were funny. Like you said, humor books. What were you buying off the spinner rack, JB?
Man, I'm trying to think. I remember one of the earliest comics I ever bought with my own money at a 7-Eleven was, I think, the first issue of the that Thanos story arc, where they introduce
the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, because it was like the issue where they introduce all these like evil doppelgangers, like all these twizzy evil versions of all the Marvel superheroes. And then like for example, there was like a twizzy Wolverine that was fighting Wolverine, and a twizzy Iron Man that had like a suit of armor that was made out of like a razor wire and shit like that. And actually the Spider-Man doppelganger, he came from that one-off little thing that they did with that storyline, where it's Spider-Man, but he has like spider eyes and venom teeth and a tongue and has 4 arms.
I was gonna say the multiple arms. Okay, yeah, I recall that vaguely. Yeah, that's terrible.
He showed up again. He showed up again in what was that? Maximum Carnage storyline.
Was he in the cartoon too? Like the Fox Saturday morning cartoons version? I feel like Peter grew some arms or something.
I want to say yeah. I want to say yes, because they made an action figure of him.
I was going to say, I remember the toy, dude. I remember the toy. I can picture it.
Yeah, because it came with like a little Venus flytrap thing and like a doppelganger pin.
What do you think the twizziest comic is? You think it's like that Lenore book?
Oh, look, dude, yeah, Jonan Vasquez for sure. Lenore, Johnny the Homicidal Maniac.
Oh, yeah, Witchblade.
Oh, dude.
Witchblade.
Yeah.
Witchblade is like ultimate twizzy in my opinion, because man, I think, I don't know where it was, but I saw some interview with Megan Fox and she was talking about how like how Witchblade was like her favorite comic book.
Dude, yeah, and they were like, I think it was like Megan Fox rumored to play Witchblade.
Oh my god! I would genuinely watch that. That would be kind of badass.
Do you think they would like CGI the costume on? Like, you know, how like it was like this weird, like everything was exposed, but it was so crazy. You know what?
It would be her. It would be her in like a patched together green suit.
Yeah, probably so.
Just like with like one right tit hanging out, and that's all. And everything else is just all covered in green.
She's got like the Lil' Kim from the VMAs that one time.
Oh yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
You know what the twizziest image of all time probably is the album Issues by Korn. I don't know if you guys ever listened to that when you were younger, but like the one where it was like a drawing of all the dudes in straitjackets. If you haven't seen this drawing, it is the twizziest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Twizzy drawing, but the concept was amazing. The fact that they literally, and it might have been a work, but they literally actually said, okay, you guys are going to design the next Korn album. And then they were like, oh man, there were so many good ideas. We're going to make 4 variants, which is like obviously like a way to make more money. But dude, I thought that was insane. There was that one that had the straitjackets one. I remember being like, damn, that one is so sick.
Dude, you know what really sucks about that whole Korn thing? The winners, like, did not get paid, I'm pretty sure. Like, I think that they didn't. It was a contest, and it was like, hey, we're gonna pick the best 4 pieces, and you get flown to a Korn show, and we're gonna have a signing for our album with your cover in your hometown.
I think a lot of them were like one of them was like in high school. It was like a young kid.
I know it.
And I'm pretty sure that album, this was still in that time when those kind of albums went like way, way platinum, like immediately. Like
exactly, like
they made so much money on that album.
To be number 1 in the Billboard at that time, you had to like go platinum in a week, pretty much. And
which is what they did.
And that got all the artists got paid nothing. So, you know, you're selling millions of copies, and, you know, of course these artists were just like, hey, here's some exposure for you. We're going to sign records in your hometown.
Which, like, the album before, McFarlane literally did the artwork for. I wonder, I mean, obviously they paid McFarlane, like, for Follow the Leader.
Oh, you know like, Todd got that money.
For free.
Todd got that fucking money.
So, absolutely.
Hell yeah, Todd.
Korn has a lot of comic crossover, now that I'm really thinking about it.
Dude, talking about getting shafted, Dylan, you had a tweet recently where you were talking about essentially, you know, people wanting you to do work for them, and when it comes to, you know, the financial aspect of it, you know, it's just silence. Do you all get this a lot?
Yeah. I do personally. I think it's because, like, I don't know, there's like a lot of... Sometimes I work with a lot of like punk or hardcore bands, and I think that sometimes that might have like an effect on it. But the thing is, it's like I can vibe with people being like, "Oh, okay, well, honestly, that's a little bit, you know, this is my budget, or it's a little bit outside of my budget, or something like that." But the thing is like usually that it will be after like a long exchange, you know, about all of the different metrics of the artwork, about all of the different colors, you know, about all kinds of different concepts and all kinds of different the hypotheticals. And so it's like, okay, like they're in my mind, it's like, oh, they're really serious about making this. They got all these ideas. So, you know, after talking about it, and you're finally like, okay, for this kind of a project, my rate is going to be X, and then it's just crickets. It's like, honestly, I don't even understand if they thought that money wasn't going to come up, or like, I don't know if they were just gathering intel. Like, which could have been, you know, they might have just been gathering intel on rates, you know, I don't know.
That, or they just, like you said, they just assumed you would have done it for free.
Which is, seems more likely, which is frustrating, because a lot of these people will pay big money for tattoos. Like, they would never scoff at a tattoo artist for being like, okay, this is how much it's going to be. But I feel like for artwork, a lot of times there's this mentality of like, I don't know, I'm good. It's going to get so much exposure, or like, you know, the idea of paying for it sometimes seems foreign to people, which is weird, but.
Yeah. I mean, again, that goes back to the previous discussion that me and Cam had about, valuing your work, and how it's kind of driven into your head that, since you do it as something that you're passionate about, that you shouldn't be paid, that you should be totally comfortable not getting anything from that work.
Right. They just think it's a hobby. Which is just
so crazy to me. Right. Or even if they know that you do that for a living, they just think, well, you love doing this so much, so you should do this for free. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I'm sure there are chefs out there who genuinely love cuisine and love cooking, but if you fucking went to their place and be like, hey, yo, cook me this for free, they would laugh at you. Yeah, because that's like a dumb fucking take to have.
I worked in the restaurant industry for like 6 years, and I can actually, you know, attest to that even like anybody that works in a kitchen never cooks for themselves. They usually eat a lot of shitty fast food. No. You know, they just don't want to do that shit. It's kind of like, I'll draw to like, you know, keep the muscles warmed up, if you will, but I'm not, usually if I'm going to sit down and draw, I try to draw for a purpose, because though it is fun to me, I really don't want to sit around dicking around wasting time, just drawing a bunch of stuff for nothing. So I guess it kind of, cook never cooks for themselves. I'm not going to draw for free for you. I actually recently, do you guys ever work for family members? Have you guys ever had any family members ask you for any work by any chance?
No. I mean, when I was younger, my mom would, when I was younger, my mom would be like, draw this birthday card for X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
So yeah, but other than that, not really.
Dude, I actually had
my family's scared of my stuff, so.
I had a great experience recently with that. I had a cousin commission me to draw him and his boyfriend, and I gave him like a family discount though. But I was like, hey, normally I would charge this, but I'm going to charge you this for 2 drawings. Is that okay? And he was like, absolutely. And I expected that conversation to go way south, but hey, it was a pleasant surprise.
Oh, good for you. Dude.
Well, I was going to say, Dylan, is like, your position as a comic artist and illustrator, given your, like, the type of work that you do, like, considering your family's background and stuff, it's like, that's like a whole other fucking conversation, right? Like...
Oh, absolutely. For sure.
And you touch about, I mean, obviously you talk about that in your work too. If you're listening to this and you have not read any of Dylan's work, you should. It's,
oh, thanks.
It's fucking wild. Especially, so, I mean, I don't want to talk on your behalf about your own work, but yeah, that's like.
No, for sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, I grew up in a pretty like, what would be called a high demand religion. And so a lot of my work is sort of like the mirror image of that sort of on its head. So, I'm pretty much the classic example of the kid who wasn't allowed to watch certain movies. So when he finally had the opportunity, he went like for all the crazy ones and shit. So
hell yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, going back to what we were talking about being excited about comics. I mean, right now, the only thing that I am genuinely excited about is just seeing the new work that all of my friends are doing. Like, that's a kind of a shitty thing. I should be going out and like consuming as much as I can and like supporting as many artists as I can. But, I don't have that much money, so I can't really be throwing around, ducats back, left and right, getting trades and every weekly issue and whatnot. But I will say that people that we work with a lot and see a lot at these events, just getting to see that process of from initial concept to thumbnailing to penciling and then inking. Like, for example, with Marina, who we will have on the show eventually. But watching her work, and I've seen her do this before because she's
like on her Instagram, you mean?
Yeah, well, just in general. Oh, but yes, because like, I mean, she's, I would say, out of all of us combined, probably the most what would the word I'm looking for? Like
successful, proficient.
All of those things, yes, but I mean, like, more productive in the sense of her output.
Dude, absolutely.
Dude, I watch her Instagram stories, and she's just cranking out pages, and it's like intense pages with like lots of details.
It's stuff.
Yeah, lots of line work, line
work.
I feel like I'm watching a masterclass in cartooning when I watch her little clips, and I feel like such a nerd because like I'll always even just like respond. I'll be like, "This is so great!" Like I can't even help myself because I just feel like somebody deserves recognition for their work if it's that good. Like I'm just blown away watching that stuff like play out. Even though it's like little 10, 15 second clips. I'll watch the kind of
pens she uses. Sorry, dude.
Oh, no, you're fine. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's what you got to do. You got to figure out what people are using, so you can get those tools.
Oh, yeah.
I feel that. But no, yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know, just like seeing stuff go from initial idea and concept to, watching it form into an actual comic. And then, couple months later you have that book in your hand, and that is to me very, very satisfying. I mean, obviously as a comic artist and creator, we all have that moment where we have the initial idea and then somewhere down the road we finally have it in our hands and it's done. And that's like a very like that high that you have, like that 5-minute moment where you really feel like you've accomplished something is in my opinion one of the key motivators for doing all this stuff.
Absolutely.
But I think that feeling is even larger when you see it in another person whose work you admire,
Oh, for sure. Especially if you know them on a personal level too, because like you root for them that much more, I like that you said 5 minute, because for me personally, it's like I open that box up from the printer and I hold it and I'm like, oh man, this was, 6 months of work right here. This is what it all was for. But then, like, you're right, it's 5 minutes, because for me personally, after 5 minutes, I'm finding shit wrong with it, things I would have fucking done differently.
Yeah, I'm already thinking about what I want to do next.
Yeah. And then also it's great too, because then you'll see like strangers at a tabling event, like a zine fest or a comic event, comic convention, and they'll pick it up and they'll flip through it, and they could very well easily consume it in under an hour. And then
in
it's
under
done.
10 minutes.
And then right.
Yeah.
And you're just like kind of like, oh man, what am I doing?
That's
what am I doing?
There was an interview I read with Frank Miller, and I think it was Frank Miller. Yeah, it was Frank Miller, I think, where he was like, the average time spent with a comic book is, 7 to 10 minutes. When my approach to writing is I want you to take 10 to 15. I was like, that's so shitty. It's like this thing that I worked for half a year on, you're done with it in 10 minutes.
Dude, yeah. Ugh. To JB's point a little bit earlier, though, like, I work with, like, occasionally, like, at work or something like that, it'll come up where people will talk about comics or cartooning, and people will talk about their favorite stuff, and it's always, like, superhero stuff. And in my head, when people ask me, like, who are your favorites, in my head, it's like all of my friends. You know what I mean? It's like JB and Marina and Cam and stuff like that. So for sure, like, honestly, being able to literally, like, interact with people who are doing it and meet people on that personal level, like, it makes the work that much more vital. It's like right in my head all the time. Like, I'm not even trying. I'm trying to, like, impress this group of people who are making comics as well, rather than certain, like, regular audience people, I guess, if that makes sense.
No, I mean, it's nice. It's nice to have strangers like look at your work and say nice things, but when it comes from somebody that you either see as an equal or somebody who's, like, ahead of the curve, then I feel like that resonates a bit more.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Not to say again, not to downplay because, like, as somebody who doesn't have a huge following, it does mean a lot, regardless if, who you are or what you do, for you to buy my work in any capacity and say nice things. Like, that's always appreciated, but it's a different thing when it comes from another creator or somebody that you are friends with and follow, because it comes from a place that is very, very genuine, or at least, like, you can trust absolutely unquestionably what they have to say about your work.
And it means that much more. I'm not hating on my readership. I think I do get a kick out of someone coming to my table and actually making the sale, because it means that a complete stranger felt my book resonated enough to want to take home with them, so that's always, like, really cool. But you're right. Especially, me personally, I've been giving my books out to, creators that I know for 6 years now. And I feel like the first, like, last year and the year before were, like, the first time that, like, my work, I felt like it was a place of, like, genuine, like, compliments were coming from a genuine place. Other times it was like, yeah, this wasn't, you could tell that it was kind of like a hollow compliment. But you're right. It means that much more when someone that you respect and that you're rooting for says something nice about your work. So there's just, it's got a whole other level to it that, selling a book to a stranger doesn't have. I don't know if it keeps you going. It just makes you feel that the work you've done already is, paying off.
Yeah, no, definitely. So I think this is probably a good time to take a quick break. And then when we get back, we will further discuss, I don't know what the fuck. What was our next segment?
So we've done dating. So the next segment is going to be about dating. And I don't really have much to really shed on this because I've been with Alicia for, like, fucking 4
that's
years.
A good thing.
But
that's
I brought her to a show.
Contrast, yeah.
Well, I brought her to a show and she'll never go to another one, so I can talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, I think this is a good time for a break. And then when we come back, we will discuss one of the many things that maybe you as a reader don't know about, and that is what it's like being a comic artist or cartoonist and dating, because it's a whole other thing in my opinion. Okay, we'll be right back.
We'll be right back. Now, back to our program.
Okay, so hey, we're back, and we are going to go ahead and discuss a very complicated issue, and that's love. Specifically what it's like to be a comic artist, a cartoonist, or whatever, and dating. What's the love life like as a comic artist? Is it as sad as it probably sounds? The answers and more right now. What's up, guys? I know some of you here are not bachelors. Cam. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about what it's like being married to a comic artist. I mean, specifically, what is it like?
I'm not married.
Being a comic artist.
Come on, Cam. What's it like being married?
Yeah, what's that like? What was it like writing your vows down on the back of a Wizard magazine? You fucking dork.
We did a cosplay wedding. I dressed as Hulk, and
Nice.
she dressed as She-Hulk.
Deadpool.
Hell yeah! Oh,
My
Deadpool
best
and
man,
She-Hulk.
yeah, my best man was Deadpool.
Yeah, dude.
No, yeah, I've been in a long-term relationship, and my girlfriend will see me working all the time. We live together, so I'm actually in kind of like an ideal situation, actually, that probably doesn't exist for a lot of people, or maybe it does, and I could just be ignorant. But we live two very separate lives. Like, we have two separate friend groups, and we're civil with one another, and we spend time with one another, but our social lives are completely different. And I'm able to actually work and draw, and, she'll watch TV in the living room. So there's no real interference when it comes to like working there. And, she'll joke around, like if it's like a month or so before the show, we have two dogs, and she talks to the dogs, because who doesn't talk to their fucking dogs? But she'll talk to the dogs and be like, well, guys, Dad's going to be real neglectful to the family now. Like, and she'll make little jokes, and I don't think there's anything like, it sounds like it's passive aggressive, but, if you know my girlfriend, she means well, and it's just all a joke. But I did take her to Chicago Zine Fest when we first started dating. She tabled with me and sat there all day, and she was really supportive, and I think
That's where I met her, right?
Yeah. It was like 2016 or 17. I forget which year.
Cam, please never talk to that man again.
No, but I mean, she just made conversation with like my table mates, not even my table mates, the people that were tabling next to me. But now if I ask her if she wants to go to a comic show, now that like, that whole newness of dating is worn off, it's like the last thing that she wants to do. She's like, somebody's got to stay with the dogs, and before, we found a babysitter, but yeah, she uses the dogs to get out of it. But I don't think she's very supportive of the work that I do. And, she'll admit that, I'll ask her how something looks, and I kind of actually like picking her brain, because she doesn't really read comics at all. I think the only comics that she reads are mine, and it's when I'm like, hey, look at this, does this color look right here? So it's kind of cool to have like an untrained eye look at it to like, I guess, stimulate like the normal consumer. But yeah, no, I mean, she's supportive, and but no, she doesn't want to go on the road anymore, and I understand why. I mean, that's fucking, imagine just being a normal person and having to sit behind a table for 8 hours at a fucking small press show or a zine fest. Like, it's probably a nightmare situation. And then have to act like it's cool because you just started dating that person. So you have to act like you're so supportive about it. But no, we're past that point in our relationship now.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine, I mean, you're taking her to like a one-day event too, so that's got to be way better than an actual major comic convention where it's like a 3 or 4 day thing, and that's got to be like a deal breaker, right? Like if it was a 3 or 4 day of that nonsense.
Actually, Alicia said that she would want to go to SPX next year only because the fact that there's a bar in the hotel, and she thought that it looked fun. Like when I was sending her like pictures of like the catering, she was like, "This is unlike any other comic show I've ever seen you go to." I'm like, "Yeah, this is pretty crazy. You're not sitting behind a rickety table with a folding chair that would be used at the wrestling event the next night." So she did express interest in going to SPX, but only to just drink, and it's nothing at all to do with the comics.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't blame her. Shit.
But yeah, like
it's funny though that she would want to go just to drink. she's a drinker.
Yeah, she likes drinking.
I mean, who of us does not enjoy
for sure, man,
fucking getting blackout drunk at a comic convention?
Dude, yeah.
It's like the only time I drink now, I used to drink.
No, how else am I going to work up the nerves to go dance at SPX prom unless I'm totally fucking bombed, man?
Did you go to that?
We all went to it like as it was ending. You remember?
Don't you remember?
Yeah, I do not fucking remember that.
Oh man, yeah. It was there was a disco ball, and it was like I remember Space Jam.
Yeah.
The Space Jam song,
and there was like
is what I remember.
8 people dancing, and I hope I don't know them. They all just looked like they were really sloppy drunk, though.
Yeah,
I don't remember. Man, I was pretty fucking tore up by then. I don't.
This year we gotta get you guys hooked up. We're looking for love at the SPX prom.
Oh god!
You get blackout drunk, and you instead of writing your phone number, you write your table number on their hand.
Absolutely.
Oh my god! Yeah, I'll just buy a fleshlight and bring that with me. Anyway, okay, so now that we know what it's like to be in a healthy relationship with another human being.
Yeah. Good job, Cam.
I mean, honestly, what you just described, that is such a rarity.
It's the ideal, man. It's what we all want.
It's the rarity in that you both have separate lives. You both love each other, obviously, but you also understand that you don't need to be attached at the hip. You don't need to consume the other person. That's not a relationship. That's like something else,
Yeah, and I think that's honestly why it's been so long. I've been dating. This is my longest relationship that I've ever had, and I would always get bored in like 6 months to a year at most. And this one just works because, like you said, it's kind of rare. I've never had a situation like this before, so definitely unique, and positive. We have.
So she got any like-minded friends, or what's up? What's up, Cam?
Man, so she works at a makeup, like a place where they do like facials and like brow waxing and stuff, and there's some honeys in there.
Yeah.
So if you come to Kentucky Fried Zine Fest this year, we might be able to set up a version of the
come down to Louisville.
Yeah, set up a version of the dating game for Mort Crimp Jr.
Shit. No, I mean, I think it is tough with the freelance schedule and then working a full-time job, trying to coordinate. And I have a hard enough time just coordinating time to hang out with friends, let alone trying to get my dick wet. Like, that shit is not happening for the most part. And the only time that it does happen, it is like 100% unplanned on I had zero say in that process. Sure. I was just along for the ride. Yeah, I was basically just like, sure, I'm fine with this. Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
But I mean, because I was in a long-term relationship like you, Cam, but it just didn't work. I was just like not able to coordinate my time well enough, I guess, or something, and I just didn't work. Just didn't work out. So I right now, for the last year and a half, 2 years, I've been mostly just focused on my work, and dating has kind of taken a back seat for the most part. But I don't know. Like, I'm open to the idea of like dating people, obviously, but it would have to be one of those things where we both are on the same page. Like, look, this is what you'll probably have to expect because of my schedule.
Exactly. Yeah.
And,
I mean, that's really.
And a lot of people just aren't game for that, and understandably so.
Yeah, I mean that's really my experience. Is like the first thing is like a lot of people. When you tell them that you're a comic artist or a cartoonist, first it's like reframing, like what that really means. Like when you say comic artist, reframing, like we're not talking about superheroes generally. We're talking about the kind of stuff that we make. And also the scale, like helping people understand like, oh yeah, but I still also work like a different job because this actually like doesn't pay me shit. You know what I mean? Or like I'm struggling with this, but also I'm never going to fucking see you because all I'm going to be doing is this. So it's not like I'm this like investment banker who's going to be gone all the time. But when we do hang out, I have all of this stuff to offer. Yeah. It's like, it's a glass half empty on all fronts, basically.
Right. It's like, I'm going to be gone for 3 weeks because I'm going to be paid, $0.5 million. Not, I can't hang out for 3 weeks because I have to work on my book, my comic about mutants, and I have to I have to get it, I have to send it to the printer 3 weeks before this event, or else what am I doing? It's just that shit. It's like, fuck, what? And it's almost like I kind of try to stray away from talking about it too much with people unless I know that it's not going to be a thing where I'm like showing my hand too quickly here. Because if somebody fucking comes up to you, it's like, oh yeah, I'm a cartoonist.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, dude, that's like, man, like literally the fucking well just is dry as the desert. And yeah. So I don't know. It's the same as like, well, I mean, and again, I can't. Maybe that's all on me because like, I'm saying I'm like trying to find ways where I don't actively reveal the fact of what I do while also wearing a fucking LIJ shirt. So like what room do I have to say about like the dateability of myself? It's, I don't know.
Well, at least the LIJ shirt isn't like immediately recognizable, like to like a normal person, it's still, anybody in our group would know what an LIJ shirt is, but like your standard, person on the street, they may not know what LIJ is. So I think you're okay.
Yeah. It's not like wearing like a John Cena shirt.
Right.
I get it. Yeah.
Imagine you meet a girl,
Fuck.
You got a purple and yellow you can't see me shirt on.
Oh, man.
Oh, I was just leaving the gym. It's an old shirt.
I actually want to show up to a date wearing like just dressed to the nines and then like taking off all my top layers and it's just that John Cena shirt. just for the content, just for the reaction. Oh man.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So like one thing that I kind of missed, I guess, was like the whole like Tinder thing. Mainly because I was in a relationship and then I got out of a relationship when Tinder was kind of new. And it just kind of, I don't know, there was something kind of strange about it. Like I had a lot of friends around me using it, but I would use it when I would go out of town and my bio would be like, not really here to hook up, but if you want to grab a bite to eat and hit a museum. And I would literally just go on these like day dates with like random girls. But do you all actively use dating apps? Like my experience with it is I've never actually like consummated the Tinder hookup, so
yeah, active user. I meet people via the apps, which is like another question is like, do you put it in your dating profile? I tend to just put like Illustrator, you know what I mean, like on my actual dating profile. But that's just
Are you on the apps, JB?
I was. Yeah, I was on Tinder for a minute.
Do you put that you're an illustrator or even acknowledge it in your bio?
No, I usually just put in "Welcome to Hell" in my bio. I wish that was a joke, but that is genuinely what I put down in my bio.
Dude, I bet that honestly gets reaction. Dude, like, would people message you?
No. It would get a reaction if I was like a tall, skinny white dude.
Oh, well, I'm gonna try it.
I am not a tall white man. I'm a 5'9" Asian man, like very clearly, visibly an Asian guy.
Hold on, I'm writing this down. Welcome to hell. I'm going to put it in my profile.
And being in the Midwest, man, that is a no-go. That is like, you are either you're going to get somebody that like is one out of a billion or somebody that is in it for a very specific reason, aka fetishization, which is, fine, I guess.
Do you run into that? Like Asian fetish people?
Yeah, man, it's on
every date an Asian.
It's on every dating app thing. You can call. I mean, you can see that shit, and I think maybe it's a little more visible with white men, and Asian women. But
okay. Oh, for sure. Okay.
You know, yeah. But there's definitely a whole subset of like white women who will actively go after just Asian men. And I mean, it's like, you know, it's fine having a preference, but like that goes from beyond just being a pattern to like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
So on your first dates off Tinder, do you generally let your date know that you're a cartoonist? Does it come out? Is it a 50-50 thing? Are you upfront about it? Or not Tinder, any kind of dating app, you know, I just say Tinder.
I'm trying to think of what my last Tinder date was where that would have even come up, actually.
Honestly, for me recently, yeah, it usually comes up because inevitably it's like, well, what do you do in your free time? What do you do for fun? And like, I don't know, like when I say like, well, I do art, I usually like have to specify from there, you know, what kind. And then, you know, but I really try to keep it as high level as possible. Like, honestly, my work is a little bit, like, niche, so, like, even describing it, I feel like I have to give all this context and backstory, so, yeah, I don't know. Really, honestly, the only reason I bring it up is not because I want to be like, oh, I'm an illustrator and I think that would be attractive to you. It's mostly so that I have a way to be like, I'm going to be busy and broke like all the time. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like,
yeah. I think that is the key word, is being busy while also not making any money from being that busy.
Exactly.
That's, I think, a thing where like, as, you know, somebody on the other side of that table on a blind date, you're just like, the fuck is this guy talking about?
Oh, dude, yeah, for sure.
They like text their friends. He said he draws comics.
He's a fucking dork. He's poor and he's busy all the time. What is that?
He's never around. Yeah.
He asked me to pick up the bill.
Oh my god.
He asked to split the bill.
But he did draw me this nice picture on this napkin.
Yeah.
He wouldn't make eye contact with me. I'm pretty sure he's on the spectrum. Yeah, man, it's not, I don't know how I've ever been on any dates as a comic artist or cartoonist, to be honest with you. And yet it does happen. And like, you know, it's a law of averages, I guess. Like some will eventually play out in your favor, but I don't know.
Oh yeah, man.
I get it.
Like as the world gets closer to ending, as we're all getting older, everybody just feels more desperation, and that will work in our favor. And that's really what I'm hoping for.
Well, also that works more in your favor as a man.
Yeah, that's true.
You
that's
going
true.
into your 40s is somehow, and I'm not saying I agree with this, and I don't even understand it, but it's like definitely more socially acceptable to be in your late 30s, early 40s dating some 20-year-old something or other. But if you're a woman or whatever, you know, if you're a heterosexual woman and you are actively trying to date dudes and you're going into your late 30s and 40s, you are going to probably attract a very specific type of person.
Yeah, speaking of fetish, yeah.
Yeah, and that, I mean, I'm not saying that's right. It's just, it is a thing that you can see in dating circles. So I for one am just very, very, very much looking forward to going into my gray hair days and just being that guy, I guess. I don't know. I mean, that is like stupidly optimistic now that I think about it. That shit ain't happening on my part. I'm just going to.
You don't think you're going to get gray hair? Come on, I think it'll happen.
Oh, the gray. Yeah. Yeah, right. I see what you did there, Dylan.
Are you saying that you're going to be the guy with gray hair that's dating a 20-year-old?
No, I'm saying hypothetically that would be great, but I know that's not the reality of how that's actually going to play out on my end.
If you quit comics and did something that made money, it probably would.
Sure, if I like went back to school for like business or like law or something, sure, yeah, I can go manage a fucking someone's stocks or fucking whatever the fuck it is. But yeah,
are there many? There's not really many like comics couples. Like the only one, like I'm trying to think of them right now. The only one that I can think of are like the Allreds.
Handsome.
I know Mike Allred, you know, draws and Laura colors his stuff, but I don't really know of any like creators
There's
that
a couple.
are. Yeah. Who else is there?
Oh, the Allreds are Mormon, aren't they?
I don't know. You would know more than I would on that.
Dude, I swear. Okay, hold on. I don't want to just be. That's a Mormon last name, and I swear I saw that they got the Mormon Letters Award one year.
Michael Allred, Mormon artist, Mormonism. This is
dang, man, I can sniff it out.
Mike Allred is a Mormon?
The Mormon Wiki, yeah. So Mike Allred is a pop art style comic book artist and writer.
You can't sneak it past me. I can always sniff it out.
Mike Allred's a Mormon?
Yeah, Allred is a member.
What?
Hang on, here you go.
Oh, what the hell is that?
Allred is a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and wrote and drew The Golden Plates, an adaptation of the Book of Mormon. His wife.
Oh my God!
Wait! Was that a book or a cartoon?
Well, it says an adaptation. The Golden Plates. We can look it up.
I wonder if I had that growing up.
Oh, dude! Here's another Mike Allred fun fact. His wife Laura is often his colorist. He has a color deficiency, color blindness, so it's difficult for him to distinguish between colors. So he's colorblind and Mormon. Mike Allred fun facts for you all.
Hell yeah,
he's
man.
fucking
learn this on the show.
Mormon.
The Golden
Plates. So
Plates.
wild.
I you know, and again, you never know how up to date it is. It's a very, very fluctuating religion, so maybe not anymore. But
this is
at one point
he did a book in 2004 called The Golden Plates, and it's a trade paperback. It's adaptation and art. This is the Amazon description. Adaptation and art by Michael Allred.
Who's the publisher?
Let's see.
I'm trying to figure out if it's Mormon, like if it's a Mormon publisher or not.
AAA Pop is who the publisher is, but it says here. Oh man, here's the description. Where the past reveals the future and proves that God exists. The breathtaking adventure, romance, terror, joy, and power of the Book of Mormon begins here.
Dude, hell yeah. This rules.
Yeah. So Dylan, I'm actually he's honestly one of my favorite cartoonists, so I'm kind of like having a breakdown right now processing all this on the show. Dylan, you got to get this book though and let me look at it.
I think I'm fairly interested.
It's $7. It even says on here, suggested U.S. retail.
I'm going to wait till it goes down to $3.50 and then I might move on it.
Dude, I bet you if you wrote the church, they probably have some boxes.
Probably. Damn.
This is crazy. Oh, dude, there's multiple volumes. There's 3 volumes of it.
All right. Enough of this deep dive in Mormon shit. I'm over it already. I'm fucking over it.
Oh, man. I'm trying to think. Any other comics couples? Yeah, I can't think of any.
Comics couples? I mean, there's Sarah Dyer and Evan Dorkin.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, and then I guess I know Matt Fraction's dating Kelly something or married to. That's and another
there's
one.
Don, I think his name is. He's a comic writer. He did like that Thanos run recently and the Venom run.
Donnie Cates?
Donnie, yeah. I think he's like dating a comic artist. I think.
Oh,
I want to say. I don't know.
Oh,
there's
David and Maria Lapham did Stray Bullets. I don't know what Maria does, but I know that like she helps him with the books somehow. Actually, I don't know if she's like an editor or something like that, but yeah.
There's also Steve's still into comics. I mean, he still writes, I guess, for the most part. But he's married, and his wife is a really well-known comic illustrator.
Who is this, Steve?
She does all the covers for the Wonder Woman book. Jenny Friesen.
And who's Steve? What was Steve's last name?
Steve Seeley.
Okay.
His brother Tim is also a artist writer guy.
Tim, I know Tim. He does a lot of DC stuff right now. I think for Batman, maybe. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. That's something I don't remember honestly, but I know Steve more than I do Tim. But I don't know. They're there. That's a couple, I guess. They're there. I mean, they exist and they make it work. Clearly, I don't know.
I think I could date a writer. I don't know if I could date an artist. They'd have, going back to that, they'd have to be worse than me. But a writer, no problem.
I want to date a wrestler.
Sure, we all do. I want to date someone that can whoop my ass. Absolutely.
I want to date a woman that will just like a fucking deadlift German me into a car.
Yep, absolutely. The dream.
Yeah, like when I'm in my twilight years, I'm just like please, just do it. Just
absolutely
fucking show me the way to King's Road and just drop me on my head.
Dude, who will just cut my forehead open for me and then hit me so I get that color.
Hell yeah.
Just gig me straight up.
Imagine doing that at your wedding ceremony.
Oh my god, that'd be so sick.
You gig the night before and they punch you in the forehead.
You gig backstage, then you walk out, then she hits you, you fall down, you bleed everywhere, everybody's going crazy.
Hell yeah.
So happy.
Hell yeah.
So joyful.
Yeah, the winner gets